Hello and welcome to my video and final project of the course School Organization and Student Diversity. Okay, first of all, I want to present you my school. My school is an Austria public primary school. It is in the city center and it's a really old one. There are 8 classes, 2 per year. In each class there are more or less 22 students, so in general we're almost up to 200 pupils. Because the school is a public one, it is cheaper than other schools. The students and their backgrounds are also really different. There are several languages represented like Ukraine, English, Turkish or Arabic. Also the family backgrounds are really different. For example, some families can afford going to holidays. In summer, other families need to look for a place for their kids where she or he can stay during the summer because the parents need to work. Due to the fact that the school is an old one, the access to technology is not the best. Not many digital devices are used. Also, the opinion to digital technology is different. Some families are in favor of it, others have concerns about the influence on social behavior. Additionally, my school attaches great importance to inclusion, equal opportunities, and the holistic development of the children. Right, so I put the prompt from the AI into ChatGPT and I got following results. I chose these 5 because they were the most appropriate. So I developed a specific plan which takes family conditions, digital resources, and values, as well as the education into account. Workshops. First of all, there will be implemented a workshop for parents because parents often feel overwhelmed with these topics, and especially in my school there are families who are struggling with digital tools, devices and in general technologies. These workshops foster understanding and trust, which is also the basic for having a good and positive and effective learning atmosphere. It's also really important for this school, especially with this diverse parenthood, I would say. Besides that, it's also part of the Austrian curriculum that the parents got involved into school content, which also means making workshops. For that, the primary actors involved are teachers, parents, pedagogists, and the students, because they also should be part of the workshop. I would say this measure affects especially the teacher-parents relationship because they work so closely and intensive together. Honestly, I think this one is so important because a good teacher-parent and student relationship sets the base for everything. That's why I really like this measure. Tech-free Friday. Secondly, we will introduce a tech-free Friday because we noticed that especially the social interactions and relationship in the school and between the students suffer due to much technology and screen time. So this measure allows children to really get into contact, to strengthen their social competence and to build real friendships, and giving a focus to the diversity of languages. Supported by the pupil representation law, it's also important that students have digital free time to fulfill the individual need to maintain social contacts and to have a healthy relationship with digital media. This measure is very suitable for our school because due to the fact of variety of languages, the Tech-Free Friday promotes social interaction, it reduces overstimulation and provides space for creative analog learning methods, especially for families with a technology skeptical attitude. This is perfect. In this case, the actors which are involved are obviously the students and teachers, but also in a way the parents, as well as the other school members, because this Friday would be structured in another way, so it affects the whole school. Specifically, the teacher-student and student-student relationship is affected by this because they are in the focus this way while working on the relationship without using digital devices. So it affects social contacts a lot. Digital portfolio. Thirdly, we will create digital portfolios in order to promote the self-reflection of the students and to facilitate individual support, as well as strengthen their relationship to the parents. This portfolio will be individual and made by every child, so they can create it as they want. And for teachers, it's a nice opportunity to see students' process. This measure is also supported in the general Austrian curriculum, where a specific part says to include and use digital tools in school day. Obviously, the most affected actors are the students because they are the ones who make the portfolios. Also, the teachers because they will watch the portfolios, evaluate in the process, and it also affects the relationship between the students and the teacher because both of them are working on the portfolio. Also, the relationship between children and parents is affected because probably the parents are helping with the portfolio. Multilingual communication platform. The fourth would be a multilingual communication platform, which makes a lot of sense because in this way everybody can be involved. It's essential and appropriate, especially for my school, because it lowers the barrier for families who are struggling with the German language to participate in school life, and it also promotes integration and parental involvement. Well, there is no specific saying that it's obligatory to have this platform, but it's recommended in some schools. Here I think almost everyone is affected because it's about the communication, so the focus is on the parents and teachers as well as on the whole school team and principal. Students are partly affected because mostly the parents should be writing on this platform. This measure is especially affecting the relationship between the whole school and the parents because this platform is here to communicate about organization, school stuff, about the students, and so on. So there's a lot going on the base from the school-parents relationship. Digital code. Lastly, we would develop a digital code that means creating rules, trust, and orientation together for the students, teachers, and parents. For instance, having some orientation days, evenings, and weeks to create, and then regularly meetings to catch up and reflect. Also, this measure is really appropriate for my school due to the fact that there is a huge variety of languages and sometimes a lot of misunderstandings. I imagine that it's very helpful in improving the school system, the various relationships, and the general mood in school in a positive way. Probably it can fix some barriers between students with different languages and their families. It will be in line with a school-specific document where the main points are recorded. Block 2. I choose the second question, which was about how I can improve the communication about the digital transformation. Well, I will present you right now the 5 main points of my program. First, regular newsletter. I would implement the creating and sending of regular newsletter, which means that the teacher of the classes is sending weekly or monthly, must be discussed before, newsletter to parents to keep them updated, what's going on in school, maybe which new digital tool is used, and so on. This point has a positive impact to the trust between the school employees, like the principal, or the teachers and the parents. My leadership style would be a participative one because I'm informing constantly and include everyone. I really like this idea because it creates a sense of belonging and reduces the feeling of insecurity. Second, workshops for parents and school about media competence. Workshops are a great idea to not only get a better knowledge about a topic, in my case about digitalization, also to communicate with many other people. As a principal, I would make sure that external people come to us regularly and hold workshops on digitalization. It would also be important for me that these are possible in several languages so that everyone involved can take part without any problems. This helps with understanding between generations. My leadership style would be a servant one because I help others to grow. I support this point really hard because in my opinion you should be able to empower as a principal and not only to give instructions. Third, interactive platform for feedback and questions. This main point of my program is also a really good possibility to strengthen communication. Teachers in particular feel heard. So the idea is a platform for giving feedback and asking questions, which is a nice way to communicate and prevent misunderstandings. My leadership in this point as a principal would be a situational one because I'm adapting my actions to feedback. This point is supported by the fact that adaptability is very important, especially in times of changes. That's why I would definitely implement this one. Fourth one, digital hour and coffee dates. I really like this point because I think it focuses more on social contact and the relationship between the parent and teacher, which is basically the main intention. So I would love to implement special coffee dates where people come together and teacher can talk with parents. Parents can ask in a simple way some questions about digitalization, and so they're communicating in another, I would say, more relaxed and stressless way. As a principal, my leadership style would be a participative one because I'm also working on that and supporting the school community. I chose this one because digitalization affects everybody of us, and since these points should focus on communication, this idea combines both, and is for that a really nice option. Fifth one, digital parties. The last main point of my program will be in some way a digital party, which means that there will be once in a month or something like this an open feast in school where also other persons or teachers will represent experience reports about using digital tools in school, and also some digital tools will be offered for the parents to try them. So also this should be in a nice atmosphere with the focus on talking. In this part of the program, I think I would have a situational leadership style because I will need to prepare these things and kind of lead it. I'm really for this point because I'm convinced that practice makes more sense and is more effective, apart from the good opportunity here to focus on communication. Block 3. I chose the first question, which was about the diversity care plan. So there are various elements which are fitting perfectly to my school because my students and in general the school is really diverse. For example, the individual support and differentiation, which is especially for pupils with special needs, very important, is an element of the diversity care plan. Also, social learning is an element, and in my school, really important. And I would say highly recommended because social learning is also a way where pupils can learn easily, even they don't speak the same language, because social learning has the focus on the activity at itself. For instance, during a math lesson on addition, I would prepare different worksheets. Like some students work with counting blocks, others with visual number lines, and some were, for example, with verbal instructions only. I would also use peer support, pairing students with learning buddies. This promotes both inclusion and social learning. Also, the element of barrier-free material is such important for my students because due to the fact of various languages, special material can help by communicating. In conclusion, I can say that I can use a lot of elements from the diversity care plan because they fit very well and are also helping me as a principal to improve the school, ways of teaching or learning, communicating, and especially how to be more aware of students with special needs related to intellectual disability. Okay, part 2 and the last part. Okay, now to my answers of the questions. First one, I think I deserve a 9 out of 10 because I was almost every time in the class. I did the homeworks, in group tasks, honestly, sometimes more and sometimes less, but at the end it was balanced in the group, so it was fine. And I put in a lot of effort in this exam, especially own ideas at the block 2. That's why I would say I did quite a good job. Next question. I would say I've learned or got aware of the importance of organization. It builds the base for everything, I would say, and due to the fact that I'm a little bit unorganized, I really got the importance of organizing. And also that every school works different, even though that there are similar conditions and obviously laws, every school has its kind of own type of organization. Next one. Honestly, I wasn't aware of the whole elements which are also included in school organization. Before I thought it's only about how to organize a school day, special days, grades, schedules, and so on. So I would say I was kind of surprised of that. Next, I would say that the most important idea is to recognize, value, and actively support diversity to ensure equal opportunities for everyone. Yes, definitely, because we discussed in the course different ways and perspectives of diversity. And I remember the podcast and video in one of Juan's lessons that reached and taught me a lot, why I would say I'm more aware of the importance of attending to diversity. And the last one, preparing content. I would say preparing content in a short time, being creative by presenting the video, and also with handling these different types of tasks in one exam. Well, thank you for giving us the opportunity to learn and to experience this exam. All right, thank you for your attention. Wish you all the best. Stay safe, and yeah, bye bye.